Welcome to this Thursday entity clearing, entity removal, energy healing, however you want to call it. My name's Fola. And yeah, we're going to just kind of see what shows up today. And as usual, I will use some different tools that I know from my various trainings with entity removal. And yeah, let's just I guess start off with a bit of smoke cleansing. I have some sweetgrass here I've been using. I'm like, just so yummy. So just call to that plant, to the sweetgrass, that spirit, to just support with cleansing and bringing a level of sweetness into this process. Bringing a level of sweetness. And I'm going to just ask that our ancestors, our guides, those angels that wish to support us, hold us up in this healing space as we create a circle, magic circle around us. So wherever you are, just envisioning a circle being formed around you, and an energy pillar on the east with Archangel Raphael forming, calling to the energies of the east to bring inspiration and enlightenment. Now, pillar in the west with Archangel Gabriel standing there, calling to that place of intuition and introspection. Energies of the west, come and be here now. And then in the south direction, just envisioning a pillar of light there, an Archangel Michael present. That place of will, of trust and innocence. Oh, come and be here now. And then we call to the north where a pillar of light, an Archangel Oriel stands. Place of the animals, to the wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Energies come and be here. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Meredith. That's very kind of you. Hello, Delilah. Hello. Yeah, abundant peace. So I guess before we get into that, I went and grabbed this other deck, but I pulled myself a card. I've been using this like Orisha tarot just to kind of familiarize myself with that. Obviously, with my Nigerian heritage, I've kind of felt disconnected. And the card that came out just now was the Three of Swords. And I was reading the description in the book. I wanted to share that with whoever needs to hear it. And then I might pull from the Egyptian deck, or the cartouche deck, whatever it's called, Way of the Cartouche. But something about the story related to this tarot deck for the Three of Swords just really stood out to me. And it might be something someone here needs to hear. So the Three of Swords. In this card, we find some of the deepest suffering we may encounter in life. It's personal, deep, and lasting. Often in a reading, this card points back to something in the past that's left a permanent wound. So the story that he shares in this book is Akoshi is known to be an expert hunter, able to find and catch or kill animals that others could not. One day, Olofin, an aspect of the creator, asked him to catch a specific bird for him, which he did. When he brought it home, his mother found it and prepared it for dinner, not knowing why the bird was there. When he came back, he was outraged that the bird was gone and could not figure out who had stolen it. He set out to catch another and brought it to Olofin right away. When asked what he wanted in return, Akosi said he wanted his arrow to strike dead the person who had taken the first bird. Olofin granted his wish, so Akosi fired the arrow high in the air and straight into his mother's heart. We can see that in the card in the back. His mother being Yamaya, the goddess of the ocean, kind of like mother of all, really. So yeah, he fired it. It killed her. When he found out the consequences of his search for justice, he pleaded with Olafin to bring her back. And in the end, like he did. So just the divining aspect here says Olafin agreed to bring Yemaya back, but we humans aren't so lucky. Many of our mistakes become regrets we carry forever. Worse still, some problems and heartbreak are so hard to resolve that we may even stop living life. Regardless of the scale at which this card speaks, acceptance and letting go are the only solutions. No resolution or repairs are possible. So there might be old wounds preventing happiness or success, a rash decision with lasting consequences, the letter of the law to be carried out. And the solutions to this, he says, is just be, or be just. Oh, that's interesting. I said it like that. Be just, meditate, and make sure you are right before acting. So whoever needed to hear that, when I read that, I was like, ooh, how many things do we carry? And we just like continue to like create these stories of victimhood out of a feeling of injustice. And if you're someone like, who's gone through a lot of trauma, a lot of difficult experiences in life, maybe family's been involved in some capacity or like a resentment towards family. I speak from like personal experience with this. It can be really hard to let go of. And we want, to send or create that justice, not really thinking about the outcome. And I think I've shared this before, a story about, some of the things that happened to me personally in my history with a lot of the healing that I've done over the years, coming to terms with some of that stuff, and then working with certain like spiritual guides who, there was one particular guide who's very enlightening and like open, non-judgmental to the requests that are made. And I remember being like, well, what I think I want would be to have this justice for people to know the truth about a situation, to get like revenge, really. And he was like, okay, well, let me show you what that looks like. And he showed me. And of course, it was like kind of great at the beginning because I'm like, oh yeah, like everyone, like I feel good here in this situation. I feel like I've spoken my truth. It's now there's nothing hidden and so forth. But what he showed me was this like dissolving and just chaos that happened for a lot of the other people. And as I saw that play out, I was like, oh, well, maybe this isn't really what I want. Because like, in my opinion, if you are someone who's gone through traumatic experiences, difficult paths, and you're here, because only so many people are going to be here, you are the person who's meant to go through that because you are a strong individual. Like God wouldn't have given you that. A lot of people might not like hearing that, right? To hear that you chose the difficulties in life. But I can say for myself, I could clearly see why the things that happened to me were karmic and how it's played out now in the other person's life. But like, we have to come to terms with that. And that's when we shift from victim story to empowered story. But to recognize how much power you have, that you are capable to move through difficult things. And so in the end, after I'd seen this in like this meditation, I was kind of like, you know what? Like, sure, that might make me feel okay for a little bit, but then I'd be like dealing with everyone's crazy shit anyway. And then it would be like there's all these other consequences to our actions or inactions, our wants, needs, whatever. And it just felt true to me to be like, you know what? This is just for me. It's for me. And I'm going to sit with this. And whether or not anyone else ever knows what happened, or if they ever believe me about what happened, I just have to acknowledge and own my own experience of that. So yeah, whatever that needed to come out as. That's interesting. Definitely was not intending for that. We were supposed to do an entity clearing, so we'll get right into that. But please let me know in the comments what's been showing up for you this week. What's been, real in your worlds? Any difficulties? I'm hearing a lot of financial stuff this week, you guys, so much from many different people. I would say I'm witnessing that in my own life too. And with that, actually, I was going to say, what was it? I probably need to check my birth chart thing. I was having a little conversation with Joe, my AI, and I think it was for myself and my birth chart, which I would. This is why I'm saying I encourage you to look up your birth chart to the time and your location to really get a sense of what is showing up for you. Because for me, it literally has been since like May last year till I think it said it was going to be in February. There's something about Saturn and Taurus in my chart that's like bringing up a lot of past teachable karmic learnings around money, material world. And so I encourage you to look up what's going on in your chart because there might be something similar. You can go on an AI program and ask it. I mean, it's not always fully accurate. You might have to do your own research too. But I was like, oh, like I didn't even know the timeline until I saw it on the conversation or thread. And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly when everything changed. When I look at my like expenses and all the income and all this stuff, I'm like, whoa. And that doesn't really help because then it's like, well, so what about these next few months? But I'm like, no, like it's great because I'm making the changes, being the change based on what is coming through astrologically, energetically to learn. And so with that being said, if money and the financial things are really showing up for you, reach out. I am doing rituals for people. I think the Gumroad shop, which is in a link to the description, has that info. But on Monday, we'll pull cards specific to that. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I need to do like a money ritual or some type of video to share just for people whenever. Because clearly there's a need. And I went grocery shopping today and it's just like, wow. Witnessing so many different people's like fear. I can like feel their fear and anxiety at the grocery stores of being able to purchase things or not. Very interesting, very interesting. And noting that like a bag of coffee, this coffee my partner likes to drink, it's like, how is that like $32? Like what? What's going on? So responsibilities, intentions, but also recognizing you deserve. And so maybe this entity clearing is around some of this stuff, around money, around self-worth stuff, because these are some of the themes that have been showing up this week. Okay, sorry, I'm going to read comments here. Meredith, I got that card in my dailies this morning. Oh, the Three of Swords, right? Oh, interesting. Yes, okay. Trying to remember what that card's called in the Thoth deck. If that comes to you or you know, let me know. I didn't think it applied to me now, but now I see it does. Yeah, I think it applies to all, even me. I'm like, well, what's this about? But as I read it now the second time, I was like, oh, actually, I might actually see who that and what that applies to. So, okay, well, let's do some entity clearing. Clearing the entities, clearing the energies. Just going to call to those entities, those beings that are present, hidden, veiled, misled, confused in our spaces, places, bodies, energy fields. We're calling to you here, knowing that whatever goes on here, you are open to receive it or not. That's totally up to you, no judgment. But the invitation is for you, viewer, to have this come from a place of non-judgment towards whatever shows up. Because the concept here is we are working with entities who most likely want to be cleared. And entities show up in life. They impact our emotions, our physical body, our energy levels, our energetic sense of connection to spirit or the universe. They can cause a lot of disruption to even technology and stuff. So we're going to just call to all those entities present. Anything that's been showing up over the past week or so, today, maybe weird shit's been happening for you today, just calling you to all be present. And just envision that with me. Envision whatever's showing up, that's showing up, whatever sensations you're feeling, just feeling with no judgment. We're just going to clear those entities. So all those entities that are present here, those spirits of the land that want to be cleared. Who are you? Who are you? And who were you before that? 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 Who were you before that? And who would you like to be in the future? Take all your magnetic imprinting, cords, attachments, hooks from wherever they are. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. That's the clearing statement. If you're not familiar with it, it's nonsensical. It doesn't really matter what it is. It just gets us out of this like conscious thinking mind. So just inviting you to I'm seeing it kind of like this energy, almost like being pulled apart and like stretched out to get like even more microscopic in your energetic field. That's how I would describe that. So all the way into the cells and DNA, mitochondria, where all the ATP is formed and created. Maybe some of you are really having energy issues. This morning, I hardly could get up out of bed. Interesting that this would show up. So whatever is showing up here, whatever entities might be attached, what are you? What are you? And what were you before that? 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 And what would you like to be in the future? Every possibility exists for you to move on here. And please take all your magnetic imprinting, all your cords, attachments, hooks. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Ooh, and I'm being told, let's go deeper. This is like quantum level. What's deeper than the freaking cells and little organs of our cells, but literally into the nuclei and the dark matter of your existence. Ooh, so just breathing here, because this might feel like a little for some of you. Wrapping your head around it may be impossible, but that's okay. Just breathing, and we're pulling here this energy, stretching it, getting more and more down to the root. Okay, calling all the entities in the space that wish to be cleared. Who are you? Who were you before that? Who were you before that? Who were you before that? Oh, and who would you like to be in the future? Please take all your magnetic imprinting, all your cords and attachments. Anything not serving us, this body, this sovereignty, or you. Take it all now, please. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Taking a deep breath in. Is there anywhere else we have to go? Just breathing into this quantum space, this expansive space that we have now touched on. Okay, are there any demons here? Any dark entities that want to be cleared, need to be cleared, should have been cleared? Whatever veils might be present, just lifting those angels. Thank you for lifting them, bringing clarity, bringing ease, bringing open-mindedness to see what wants to be seen. And asking again, are there any demons here that want to be cleared, need to be cleared, should be cleared? Okay, and so we'll just clear that, not judging, labeling the presence of demons. They don't really want to be here. We don't need them. Really, when we think we need them, it just takes away our power. So we don't need that. It's about sovereignty here. So we're going to just revoke, rescind, recant, renounce any demonic energies here. Go back from whence you came. Go back from whence you came. Go back from whence you came. Never to return to these bodies, these minds, these humans, these consciousnesses, this reality, these bodies, this world ever again. Whew. Go back from whence you came. Return from whence you came. Never to return to the bodies, minds, consciousness, realities, or these people, souls, consciousnesses ever again. Go back from whence you came. Go back, return from whence you came. Never to return to these bodies, minds, humans, souls, consciousness, realities, worlds ever again. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. I'm just going to invite you to, with this expansive energy, move it like, maybe you're sensing it's yourself, but we're moving beyond into like the reality of the space, okay? Like you and the space, the room, there's no difference. So in your home, in your apartment, in your community, whatever, however you wish to grow, definitely though within your living space, I would say. Tuning into the entities here, any energies that want to be cleared, need to be cleared, should be cleared. What are you? What were you before that? 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 And what would you like to be in the future? Take all your magnetic imprinting, hooks, cords, attachments, please. And leave. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay, so like around the money, around the abundance or lack thereof, perceived lack thereof. Is there any entities that need to be cleared here for those watching, tuning in, live or in the recording, past, present, future? That's kind of my mind fuck thinking someone's watching us in the past. Whatever that is, bringing that to the forefront. Entities around money that want to be cleared. Who are you? Who were you before that? 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 And who would you like to be in the future? All possibilities exist. Will you take all your magnetic imprinting, cords, attachments, hooks now? Go. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. I want to invite you just to imagine like a bill, like a currency in your hand, like whether it's the coins you use in your country or bills, whatever amount, doesn't matter. Just seeing like you envisioning that in your hand or in front of you. And whatever dollar or amount it is, just note what it is. We're going to just ask, are there any entities that want to be cleared? Entities that want to be cleared around this specific amount of money. Okay, what are you? What were you before that? 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 Going deeper, what were you before that? What would you like to be in the future? All possibilities exist. Will you take all your magnetic imprinting, all your cords, hooks, attachments now and go? Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay. Now, whatever that amount of money was, I'm going to invite you to increase it to like an exponential amount, like whatever. If it's like $100 and you're like, oh my God, that's so much. Or if it's like, I'm imagining a briefcase in my hand of like $1 million or whatever, like, oh, 1 million naira in Nigeria is not very much, I guess, but envision like the most amount of money that comes to your mind if you could envision that. So bringing that to your awareness, your third eye, vision, whatever, imagination, and just feeling what you feel and notice what you notice. If there's like a disagreement inside your body, a fear that shows up or anxiety, or if you're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Whatever's showing up, just welcoming it. What entities in this briefcase, cauldron, pot, wad of cash, coins, what entities are there that want to be cleared, should be cleared, need to be cleared? Who are you? And who were you before that? 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 Ooh, who were you before that? And who would you like to be in the future? Every possibility exists. Please take your magnetic imprinting, attachments, cords, hooks, and go. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay. Anything else here? I don't. Anything else? Okay, any entities tied to the womb space, pelvic bowl, sacral, specifically linked to worth, self-worth, shame, guilt. You're going to call those entities up, ask those healing angels to support with removing any attachments, cords, hooks in that part of your body. Boom, boom, boom. Any like sludginess I'm seeing with some of your water spaces in that sacral area. Entities, who are you? Who were you before that? 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 And who would you like to be in the future? Take, please, all your magnetic imprinting, attachments, cords, hooks now. Go. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Because you are so worthy. You. So now let's call to those entities that want to contribute. Those entities of the land in which we all reside, call home, or the land in which we walk, the land that gives to us, calling to those entities of nature and spirit, the spirit worlds, those entities that are all present, wanting to contribute to our expansion and growth, to consciousness in its highest, greatest sense. All those entities that want to contribute to bringing money, bringing opportunity, bringing wealth, abundance, bringing the resources for things that we need to live a thriving life. Just envisioning those entities showing up however they're showing up. Coming like, hey, okay, I'm here, I'm ready. I would love for you to contribute to my life. Just thank you. And in clearing anything that's holding us back from receiving from this contribution, go and bring those opportunities now. Bring them, bring them, bring them, bring them, bring them. I am open, I am open, I am open, I am open. I receive, I receive, I receive, I receive. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Taking a deep breath. Anything else? Ancestral connections? Any ancestors that want to contribute? That wasn't clear before. Perhaps this is beyond like a material realm, though. If there's something here energetic that wants to come through from your ancestors to guide you, support you, inspire you to take the next jump in your life, the next leap into another level of abundance, wealth, prosperity. We ask that you be present here now, ancestors, calling those forth, imagining them kind of like behind you, I guess, almost just really backing you and supporting you. Anything that doesn't allow any of us to receive, perceive, know, and be that energy, we just destroy and uncreate it all, please. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to read some statements, some questions that I had thought initially I would do. And here we are. These were from a call I did, or it was part of yesterday, from a Access Consciousness lady, Simone Milasas. Sorry, lady. She's cool. But she was talking about these 5 elements of intimacy: trust, allowance, vulnerability, honor, and gratitude. And I want to just share the questions, some questions that you can consider just asking yourself on repeat. These are what they call the tools of Access Consciousness. And yeah, what else is possible for you to shift? What if everything is just choice? What if you're choosing to be in a place of lack for whatever reason? We all have our reasons. Again, responsibility, it sucks, but I trust all of you here. Each of us has the ability to create that change, to make a different choice. And these questions, statements, I just invite you to do what you will. So I acknowledge myself today. You can repeat that. I acknowledge myself today. Question here. Who, what, when, where, why, how have I decided I am today? Who, what, when, where, why, how, and how have I decided I am today? And anything that doesn't allow clarity and ease with that, will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. You can do this with anything. For instance, who, what, when, where, why, and how have I judged myself with money today? And everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it? Yes? Okay, great. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyond. Okay. So bringing up all your awarenesses of how or where you have not been grateful for you today. Let's just destroy and uncreate everything that is. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And everywhere you haven't trusted you today, let's destroy and uncreate all that, please. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And everywhere you have not been in allowance of yourself today. Notice the word allowance. You get allowance from your parents. Where have you not been in allowance of you today? Will you destroy and uncreate that all, please? Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Everything you haven't been vulnerable about or with yourself today, will you destroy and uncreate that all, please? Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Everywhere you have not been honoring of you today, will you destroy and uncreate that, please? Yes. Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And we'll include your body, anything else, your relationship with money. How have you not been grateful, haven't trusted, have not been an allowance of, have not been vulnerable with, or have not been honoring body, money, material, everything that is and what it brings up. Will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Good, bad, right, wrong, pod, poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. I'm taking a deep breath in. Seeing everything kind of like constructing back. You know, you're stretching it out. It's like everything's going like back into your like physical body. Thank you. Thank you for those contributing spirits, to those ancestors, to our bodies, to these souls. Whenever you're ready, you can open eyes or come back here, I guess. Maybe you're staring at the screen. I don't know. Okay, let's see some comments. Thanks, everyone. Hi, Delilah. Oh my God, that's for me. Hi, Pius. Hello. I had a release. Very, very cool. Thank my ancestors who keep blessing me. I feel like I so need that in my life to have an elder. Well, yeah, interesting, hey? You would say that. And like, please know your ancestors, whether they're alive or dead. I mean, you know this. But anyone else watching, like, they're there. And I think personally, I actually think they can make better connections with us when they've like passed on. One of my like closest healing teachers and guides is like my great grandmother. I never met the woman, didn't even know she existed until like, well, I guess it's been a few years now. Didn't know anything about her except a picture and her name, and then more information started coming in through all sorts of different means. And yeah, she's, yeah, like when I'm doing healing work with clients, it's like, okay, grandmother. She's like, okay, this is what needs to happen. Intense Nigerian woman. That's all I can say. So they can guide us, support us from anywhere. We just have to ask. We have to be open. Yeah, powerful. Thanks, Meredith, for being here, taking part. Okay, yeah, I'm open to questions or thoughts or whatever. I don't know. I feel like maybe there's something else to talk about. Let's just close the space of the circle because that healing process is done. So thank you, Archangel Raphael. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel. Thank you, Archangel Michael and Archangel Uriel, and all the energies of the wheel, the circle we created. We release you all now and know that we will walk forward in abundance, wealth, prosperity. That's what I wanted to say. But we thank you. We thank you. And with that, I read something someone on Facebook, I think, shared with me. The other responded. It says, wealth is the ability to get what you need when you need it. There's a conversation about the wealth card or 10 of discs in the Thoth deck. And something about that really, really stood out to me. And I'm just saying that my friend responded back. So I'm like, what did they say? But I won't get into that right now. I'll look at it later. But yes, wealth. Let me read it again. Wealth is the ability to get what you need when you need it. Can you pull cards today? I mean, I can pull a card for you, Pius. I don't know, no problem. For guidance from elders. I may do a couple cards. But you know, that wealth idea to do, I don't really have all my cards here, by the way. So you're going to get this and maybe, I'll pull this for you. Pius's guides and her ancestors, guidance from elders. Pius. But that concept of wealth, getting what you need, not what you want. And, you know, I'm reading this book, you guys, the You are, money's not the problem. You are. This is a book I owned. I think I mentioned it last time. I owned it, I guess. But what, 2, 3 years later, it shows at my door the other week because my friend brought it. She's like, "Oh, I think this is yours," and it like passed through a few different hands. And I was like, "I think it is, but like, it must be because I'm like really the only one that's part of that group." And and then I saw my writing in it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is totally mine. I totally forgot I had this book." And so I've been reading it, and like the concept of to want something is literally means to lack. That's why you want it, is because you're saying, I don't have this thing. So when we say, when we want something, I want more money, it means you're continually stating you don't have any. And what does that create? More lack. So really important for you to be aware of what words you're using, what the meanings of the words are. And so what Gary Douglas, the author of the book, says to do, and something I've been practicing every morning now, is like this statement of, I don't want money, meaning I don't lack money. I don't lack whatever the thing is that you are feeling like you want or need, or what it says the word want. But it's like this concept of need, right? Like, and really, I guess we don't need anything, right? But need kind of instills a sense of, it helps us with our sustenance and our life and the thriving, which I think we all deserve to experience. And speaking with a client this morning, it was like the main theme came around the regulation of the nervous system. Regulation of the nervous system. And that survival mechanism that comes on, especially with like money, with resources, we're like so ingrained. A lot of us witnessed parents, caregivers, family members being in that state of like, and so we've just perpetuated that same behavior. And now the fact that people are aware of regulation of the nervous system in a much more like open sense than it's ever been, and the fact that we are aware as conscious human beings, again, if you're here, you're most likely one of those people. Oh, hey, Judy. Hello. Then it's important that we start to tune into this concept of like, that we don't really like want anything because we have everything. Using that language instead of like, I would like to have, I don't know, like $1 million house, if that's the thing that you want. Not, oh, I want $1 million house, meaning I lack the $1 million house. More, oh, I would like to have that. And then, these tools, these concepts come on Monday to the card pull thing and whatever we're going to make in the ritual. Problem, I don't know if I'm going to do the ritual live just yet. We'll see. Because I like to specifically choose the planetary hours around my money magic. So that might have to be, actually, or I think I did pick the time for Monday's card reading to be like the switch from Saturn into Jupiter, because I think there's always a learning, but we don't really want to do the magic during Saturn. It's kind of the premise. Sometimes that can be a little intense. But this regulation of the nervous system is important. So like, if you're someone that's finding a challenge around the money, feeling like overwhelmed and in like survival stress mode, literally bring it back to the breath. I know it seems silly. And if we even just think about what the breath is like the first gift God gave you. It's the first thing that you experience receiving in this world. So I like envision it that way, because it's like, okay, if I can just even breathe, imagine like that's God giving me something, like giving me life. That's giving you life. It's like the most glorious thing. Without that, you wouldn't be here to experience the $1 million house, or to eat the food that you want to eat and have that nice dinner, or go on that car ride with, I don't know, on the beach, whatever people feel called to have. So that inhaling and then the exhaling, because there is a reciprocity or reciprocal relationship between gifting and receiving, breathing in and exhaling out when it comes to this money, wealth, abundance. We have to be in this flow. And, you know, I'm going to touch on some of your comments here, folks, in a minute. I just feel like for me, like I've shared, my name literally means wealth. God's given wealth, my full name in the Yoruba language. And I like love talking about money. I love money. I love it. Like it's exciting to me. It like means something. Like it to me, it's like it's a bit of like accomplishment, but it's like it's showing manifestation. It's showing to me magic oftentimes. And it's not just one thing, because really, when we think about it, it's not the money that we want. Like, it's not the money we're calling. Because sure, if, you know, there's another reader who talks a lot about this, and I just love it because it's like, yeah, if someone were to come and give you just money when you need like food on the table, but there was nowhere to spend the money for the food, like, would you rather have the money or would you rather have like grocery bags filled with food? So it's not really the money that you're calling in. Money is just energy. It's currency. It's a current, a flow, right? And it can then be converted into, translated, whatever, into something else that you feel the need for, the things you feel that you would like to have. So don't get caught up on the money. Think about, envision, direct energy, call in that thing that you feel called to create in your life. And I was saying that because I'm like, I just love talking about this stuff. And I clearly am seeing it with a lot of folks that like, this might be the need for more conversation. I just like struggle with it being the focus of the conversation because I recognize how materialistic capitalism and all this stuff can be, and how much of our worth is tied to money, to how much we make or don't make. And I'm like guilty of all this, like so much shame around having income or not, you know, having someone help with certain financial things or not, asking my partner for money, you know, things like this I've had to learn over these last few years. And the main thing I would say is like the learning is, I think financial issues come because it's like God testing our ego. God is being like, will you be so, going to those 5 levels of intimacy, will you be so vulnerable with yourself, with you, but also like have a conversation with someone about like, yo, this is a situation I'm in. And even for me, I'm like in places where I don't even want to have certain conversations. Like, I don't think everyone needs to know your issue. That's not what I'm saying. But there has to be some level of vulnerability. And I think the money stuff right now, especially in a lot of like people in society, is like to check our egos and recognize that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to acknowledge that maybe things haven't gone the way you wanted to go, that you had to do or choose something different. Okay? It doesn't make you any less of a human. So with that all being said, maybe they'll be sharing more about money stuff. We'll see. Okay, bias. I did pull a card for you. That's my issue. Fibromyalgia is a nervous system condition. Interesting, Delilah. Interesting. Yeah, like it's almost like an overshooting of energy or something. Yeah, I'm sorry it's painful. I told God I need a new dishwasher. Exactly. Don't, not the, hey, I need $800 for a dishwasher. It's like, okay, new dishwasher. New dishwasher. That's, and then get into like the, go online, Pius, look at dishwashers. Which ones do you like? What features do you want? Like, all this stuff is important. You know, I still haven't gotten a new car, but it's like, it's at that point now, you guys are like, I think it'll happen very quickly here. I went and test drove all sorts of vehicles. Even ones like my kid wants a Jeep. And I think I mentioned, I'm like, okay, well, let's go test drive one. I don't know, maybe I'll love it. Like, it was actually a really great vehicle. I could drive a Jeep. Is it the vehicle that I really would like? I'm still open. I think it's still out there. Test drive, look them up, research, do those things, making it a reality, not just visually, but literally showing the universe by doing the things. Anyways, okay. Bust. Cat energy. I'm going to read you the card, but it's a 4. So we have a love energy, Feeling like this was the message from your ancestors, Pius. So it's like 4 being that sphere of chesed, which is like a mercy sphere, but it's like the father energy is how I'm perceiving it. I say that because I think of the divine name El. To me, that's just like the all-loving father. And it's also directly under Chokmah, which is the father's sphere. So there's something about like the manifested form of father, manifested form of the masculine in your ancestral line, even though Bast is like a feminine card. But anyways, let's just read. Goddess of Joy. It's tied to the Ba, or soul, your intuition, caution, protection, devotion, mental healing, and generosity. Ooh, as I read those words, I was just like seeing you giving alms, or like being generous with some money or food or something to support someone else. Doesn't have to be everyone, like use your intuition, obviously. But what can you, through your generosity, especially towards ancestral stuff, like do you leave food for your ancestors on like an ancestral altar? Because that's like showing a level of devotion to them that then they will reciprocate to you. Okay. Conditions of a psychosomatic nature come under Bast. So when her card falls in the upright position, the indication is that pressing worries or mental turmoils will soon pass, giving way to joy and happiness, which in turn promote good health. This card can also help you with psychic protection. Oh my goodness. So if that's something that's showing up for you, then perhaps something beneficial there. Something also about music and movement, like dance. How could that be a contribution to your ancestors? And it says here, as cats are ever cautious creatures, the message would be to walk with care and caution in whichever area of life is indicated, according to where it falls on the spread. You'll be happy and farewell. That makes no sense. Follow your intuition is yet another piece of advice offered by this card. Ooh, interesting. Okay, next little section, sorry. One can comfortably apply many of the attributes of the cat and lion family to this card. Fidelity to the family unit, a liking for warmth, attention, and now and then a good petting. Bast people like to be recognized and acknowledged for their true worth. So when this card falls prominently in a practical reading, it suggests that you will get the best out of a situation if you give other people their due, as well as expecting them to give you yours. I kind of just said that about like leaving an offering at the ancestral altar. They will also, it's like a reciprocal relationship. Give out as you wish to receive, and joy and happiness will surely be yours. Okay. I think that's all I have to say about that. So, how can you tune into that, Pius, this week? I love your talks. Cheap. I will. Thank you. I did that day before and helped someone with food for a week. And I want to say with that, so, I think with the ancestral altar, you don't really have to speak this, but like with others, when you give, and actually you can do this with your ancestral altar, when you're bringing that offering of food or drink or whatever, it'd be like just a prayer, right? It's like, here's this, thank you, may it honor you, bless you, and so forth. And may it also return to me tenfold. Like, I feel like we need to speak that. You notice how people will say that? Like, oh, thanks for your donation. Like, may that return to you tenfold, right? Like, because it's like we're literally like speaking that. May it return to me tenfold. It's drawing that energy back to us. When you pay a bill, when you go to the grocery store, if you're buying something, like speak those things, not the, oh, do I have enough money here? Like, it's okay if you do that, because I think that's us clearing the old behavior. And also, if you're at a grocery store, you're probably picking up on everyone else's thoughts of, oh, do I have enough money? Right? It's like, hey, how can I approach this payment with ease and recognize, oh, what a blessing I get to pay this, and get something for it that's going to nourish me, care for me, bring more joy and happiness to me. May it go out and come back to me tenfold. Things like this. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. Wow, it's been an hour. So, let's just clear with some smoke. And then, yeah, if you enjoyed this or want to share a donation, feel free to. I receive those. There's a link in the description. I think it's also pinned up to the top. But I want to thank you all for being here. It's because of you. Is that a song? It's because of you. I don't know. But anyways, it's because of you that I am on here. Or, I mean, it's because of me, but I'm on here and you're watching and I have someone to talk to, I guess. I don't know. Would I still do this if no one was there? That's a good question. I think for a long time I did. But thank you for being here, and I appreciate your support. If you are new here, you've been watching, hiding in the shadows, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell too, because I notice even my channel, if I don't hit notifying bell for all notifications, I won't know what's going on in like some of my favorite channels. So do that, come back. I'll be posting some things about the schedule for October, but so far just Monday coming up. And then, yeah, events on Zoom, some free calls, things like that, that will be showing up in the next week and the next few weeks with like our new moon ritual and the alchemy collective and the embracing peace together Reiki session. All that stuff's coming up for this month. So yeah, it'd be great to have you join us there, join me there. And if you are looking for other one-on-one support, you would like to check out any of my offerings, book a card reading, like privately, have a ritual done for you on your behalf to, you know, shift things and bring the manifestations in more clearly. All that stuff's in the description. You can find it. Hello, Daniela from Moscow. Ooh, cool. Oh, I'd love to go to Russia. Anyways, thank you for the comment. Oh, hello, Andrew. Yes, happy Thursday. I've been here lurking. That's okay. You're allowed to lurk, people. It's of course, appreciate you being here, Andrew. And yes, Meredith, thank you. Notifications rock. Okay, everyone. Hope you have a great evening. Thank you for being here. Go back, watch the entity clearing if you missed it. And yeah, just sending you so much love and abundance and warmth. So until next time, bye.